Hello there folks, it is part 6 today of the Football Manager 2021 beta save with Wolverhampton Wanderers, and today we are in for a potential whopper. First off, we take on Liverpool at home in a match where we could genuinely get a result because our form has been absolutely superb. And then later on in the episode, another box office match away at West Bromwich Albion, and I can't remember what their stadium's called. It's the Hawthorns, of course it is. We go away to the Hawthorns for a potential double over West Bromwich. Of course, we couldn't achieve our other Midlands rivals, Aston Villa, a little bit earlier on in the season. But as you can see, our form in the Premier League has been absolutely superb. We now sit 3 points behind both Chelsea and Leeds United. Crucially, we have exactly the same goal difference as Leeds United. Funnily enough, we have scored and conceded exactly the same amount as Leeds United. If you have a look at who they've got this weekend, they have got Tottenham before they face Chelsea. So 2 difficult games for them. They also go into a difficult run, which includes Man City next week. And then they've got Liverpool and Everton in that run as well before actually playing us. So they might start to drop down the table, but we've got to keep this form up if we are going to potentially get an automatic continental qualification place this year. The form has been absolutely superb. So let's have a quick look at that before we get into today's game. And also, there have been a few moves in the transfer market, so we'll talk about that as well. So I left you guys with the Leicester and Brighton matches where we had an absolutely fantastic game against both. And the next one was the home game against Leicester City, and we were even better there. It should have really been 4-0 to be quite honest. We led within 6 minutes for a goal from Daniel Podence. The only bad thing about that match is that Maritan Shabani picked up quite a nasty injury. Luckily he's only out for 12 days now, but that did put him out for a month. And I thought, well, you know, this side has been quite consistent and the starting 11 has remained pretty much the same. And if Shabani gets injured, does that affect things? Luckily it hasn't, obviously, with how we've been playing. So at half-time it was 1-0, fairly close, and then 3 goals in 15 minutes made it 4-0 with 15 minutes to go. Really strong match, and straight after we scored our 4th, Iheanacho scored to make it 4-1, and then in the 93rd minute, Jamie Vardy scored a second, but that was not enough to keep us out. And a league double over Leicester City, despite them having quite a poor season. You can see they're down in 14th, okay, they've got a game in hand, so they could move up to 11th, but that is not where you expect Leicester to be. You'd expect them to be in a much better position than that. We then recorded our only defeat during this 4-match run, which is a disappointment. A 1-0 defeat away to Chelsea. And to be quite honest, I think the problem was we set up a little bit too defensively against Chelsea. Now, you'll see that the squad, and you'll see one name in there that I'm not going to make any reference to at all. I'll talk about him in a little while. But we usually obviously play these 2 wingers on attack, and I put them on supporting roles. That's something I regret a little bit. We did sit back a little bit against Chelsea, invited that pressure, and it was by the slimmest of margins that they won. But we faced the slim margin thing against Manchester City. A brilliant home win against Man City. As you can see, we probably didn't deserve it. Man City with the most possession. Their XG was higher, 12 shots, 4 on target, but we were clinical. It was a really nice, really a tap-in, to be quite honest, from Raul Jimenez from a corner that won us the match. But credit has to go, really, I think, to Kijana Huova, who was forced to play left-back after, I think, Max Kilman and both Ait-Nouri were out. He was our 3rd choice, and he did an absolutely fantastic job, and I believe that the brilliance of the likes of him, Connor Cody and Patricio at the back managed to keep Man City out for a very, very, very valuable 3 points. And we've just got 3 points as well against West Ham United, which has actually culminated in the sacking of David Moyes. But we left it late, we really did. We dominated the match. The possession stats might not show it. We had 54% of possession, but really, as you can see, 7 shots on target. We could have been 3-4-0 up before the break. And thank goodness it took a while, but it was Mario Balotelli who finally got his first goal for us. I'm actually absolutely chuffed that Balotelli has got his first goal for us. To be fair, he's not had that many appearances. He's had 6 appearances for us. 3 of them starts and 3 off the bench, of course. That last appearance being 1 off the bench. And it was just something I had to do. There was 15 minutes left. We'd got nobody else in an attacking sense off the bench. We'd already put Danny Pacheco and Daniel Podence on. So it was Mario Balotelli who came on. And thank goodness he scored the decider to make it, you know, a brilliant run. We have played 7 games in 2021, and it's been a fantastic run. 6 out of 7 wins. I don't think we'll get one against Liverpool today, but that match against West Brom has to be targeted for a full 3 points. And the problem is, as you can see, we've played quite a run of matches in the space of 3 weeks. We've played 6 matches, so that's really had a tough run on the legs of these guys. So we have got quite a few injuries. Obviously, we've got the long-standing injury of Johnny. We've got Adama Traore now out for a few weeks. Vitor Ferreira out as well, who was really a backup option. Shabani's out, as we know about, and our new signing, which we'll come on to in just a second, is also out for a few days. Mario Balotelli's just come back from injury, and we had a little niggle to Raul Jimenez. And to really exasperate that, we have sold Roman Saiss. Now, you might question this, but he was out of contract at the end of the season, and at the age of 30, he wasn't really getting into the squad. You can see, yes, he made 12 appearances this year, but he was very much an impact player, and that was it. 5 starts and 7 sub-appearances, so he's not had the most impact for us, and he'd have gone on a free. But the Shanghai Shenhua club from Chinese Super League, I think they're one of the biggest clubs in China. In fact, I'm sure of it. Yeah, Stephen El Sharari plays for him. There's quite a few decent players there. Odion Igalo, yeah, I thought I'd heard of that club before. But we cashed in on Roman Saiss pretty much. And as discussed before, Marcel has left the club. He's gone to Montpellier. He's gone on a loan-to-buy deal. They've loaned him for the rest of the season, paying £31,000 a month. But the important thing is that they've signed a mandatory future fee of $2.62 million, which I'm quite happy with, because Marcel was never going to get into the squad. But we have made one more signing in this transfer window. Really, it was to cover for Meritan Shabani's loss, and that is Maximilian Meyer, the 25-year-old from Crystal Palace. Now, we are paying him quite a premium. That's the only worry about this deal. He's being paid £99,000 a week on a 3.5-year deal, which is a little bit tentative to do, but I thought, you know what, he's 25 years of age. You can see his current ability isn't fantastic, but he has potential to be a really superb player for the first team. I think Maxi Meyer being a player that has been at Schalke and Crystal Palace and never really got to his true potential. He's played a few games for us, not really been that impressive, but personally, even if he doesn't play too well, I think he'll be a player to make a profit on. So I think that's a good signing there. £3 million. We had 30-odd million to spend, but I couldn't find anybody really in the transfer market who was a suitable fit. So that's why we signed Max Meyer. And anyway, after all that, let's move into the Liverpool match, shall we, today? So this is the team we're going to go for. You can see that it looks a pretty decent team. The only 2 players that perhaps we are definitely missing, obviously we're missing Shabani at that centre attacking midfield spot. We're missing Adama Traore, but Neto can come in for him okay. And whoever fits in for Nelson Semedo, who's also out of this game because he's had too many yellow cards, which is a real pain. But if Hover plays anything like he played in his previous match, then he should be on to a good, and of course playing against his former club Liverpool. And we've had to put 3 youngsters on the bench. Hesketh, Forrester and Carthy, some of the better players from the under-23s, because Balotelli, Meyer and Shabani, as discussed, are either injured or returning from injury. So a few former Liverpool players kept playing against them today. Of course, however, Pacheco is a former Liverpool player. Connor Cody as well, of course. But Connor Cody certainly won't be too bothered about that. But this is a match where, yes, we could win, but I think our luck will just about run out here. It's not necessarily luck, but I think that, some of our players are really tired. How big of an absence will he be? Let's see what happens out there. I don't think that Hover will be too bad, to be quite honest. I think he's done really well for us, a 19-year-old. Definitely somebody who's going to improve in the future. We've also had Willy Bolly sign a new contract for us. He was out of contract by the end of the season, and obviously he's a real shoe-in at the moment, playing really well in that central partnership with Connor Cody, because we're not conceding that many goals. In 2021, and we've conceded probably 3 goals, which, to be honest, really outstanding. But as I said, I don't expect to get anything against Liverpool today, but as discussed, we will go out there with the attacking mindset, the mindset that we can beat anyone. And if we get thrashed 5-6-0, we got thrashed 5-0, of course, in the away game. If we get beaten 5-0, we get beaten 5-0. I'm not really too bothered here, to be quite honest, because the big match for us is the one against West Brom. But anything we can get here, the better it is. And to be quite honest, I don't think playing defensively would really do anything to benefit that. We just, sit behind the ball, allow pressure, and that's not the way this side likes to play ultimately. But it's been an interesting start to the match, definitely end-to-end stuff. In the first 10 minutes we've had the most possession, which is really quite encouraging, but I don't expect that to continue. But obviously this is a massive few games for us. We're only 2 points behind Chelsea and Leeds United. You have to say Chelsea have definitely underachieved so far this year. Although for some reason in the press conference they were saying that Frank Lampard's overachieved with Chelsea. Well, if you spend 100-odd million in the summer as a Chelsea side and still finish in 5th, well, that's very much sackable form. Remember, of course, they did sack, they parted company with Maurizio Sarri, even though he got to the Europa League final. In fact, did they win the Europa League? I feel like they got to the final. I can't remember whether they won it or not, but they certainly got to the final. And not really a surprise, we have conceded here. A good headed goal from James Milner, a good crossing from Jordan Henderson. Again, I'm not going to tell the players that, and I'm not going to go like that with my mentality for a losing mentality, but this isn't a game we're targeting to win, to be truthful. If we do suffer a defeat today, then, you know, we've had a very good run. I just hope that doesn't prevent us from having a good game against West Brom, but I'm sure we will do. We're in good form, and I don't think one defeat's going to stop us in our tracks, to be quite honest. But we've held it fairly well, and we're 1-0 down at half-time. Our XG isn't too great, but we've had a decent amount of possession. Our pass completion rate isn't too brilliant, but I'm going to just tell the lads to show me something else in the second half. You know, we have to be ambitious, we have to be optimistic. There's no good saying, well, you know, this Liverpool team's brilliant. What's the point in doing that? We've been brilliant. You know, we're one of the best teams in the league at the moment. And Daniel Podence with a very early chance in the second half within a few seconds. That would be the way to come out and show Liverpool what we're made of. But unfortunately, Alisson makes the save on the first one, and the second attempt from Podence hits the side net. And Daniel Podence has been our top assist maker this year. He has played really well. And Raul Jimenez could well get the Premier League Golden Boot. He's just in brilliant form. And Jimenez with another chance here potentially, but he passes it to Pedro Neto. I thought he'd scored that then. I thought he'd scored it. It'd certainly beat Alisson, but unfortunately, it also beat the post. And to be quite honest, this hasn't been the sort of game I was expected. I thought that both sides would be really attacking, but to be fair, 12 shots for Liverpool. We seem to have kept them out quite well. But I think definitely is now a time to try and rest some of our players, particularly Moutinho, who seems absolutely shattered. We're going to put Dendoncker on the defensive, try and get Neves a little bit more free in that midfield. We can't really do much from an attacking standpoint because unless we're desperate, I don't want to bring any of Hesketh, Foster or Carty on. So I'm going to bring Max Kilman on to replace Ait-Nouri. Remember, of course, it is Ait-Nouri's first match back from injury. I did try and buy Ait-Nouri. There's actually an optional future fee in the loan deal we've got for Ait-Nouri for £20 million. But given that we've spent a bit of money and of course have used all that wage budget in the transfer window just gone, we couldn't sign him because his wage demands were just too high. Roman Saiss actually went on the 5th of February, so I mean that future fee can be activated at any time. So you know that's not really a worry. You can just show how bad we are in terms of depth when it's suggesting that we replace the right winger Pedro Neto with the centre back Jack Watmore. But at 1-0 down, we are still firmly in this match. You know what? With 13 minutes to go, why don't we just go for it? Why don't we attack? You know what? We should have just put Balotelli on the bench, even though he wasn't really that fit. Well, oh well. But we're 1-0 down. What have we got to lose? We might as well go a little bit more attacking. As to be fair, we've been quite attacking throughout. And we could just nick a late equaliser. You never know. We actually haven't drawn a match since the first match of the season, you know, against Leeds United. But this could be a chance. Pedro Neto in the box. But, you know, Alisson's had, I think, a fairly easy time of it today. You have to say that he's not really had anything too difficult to deal with. We are going to have to make a substitution here. I think that I guess we just give Owen Hesketh a chance. I mean, he's going to be chuffed at the age of 18 to get a start. Maybe Connor Carty, perhaps we put Pacheco there and put Connor Carty on up front. You know, I don't think he's ready for a first team appearance, but he's about all we've got on the bench today. So, you know, what's the risk? He'll have a 10-minute run out there. He's going to be really passionate. You can see Joe Gomez is in the attacking position, which is hilarious. They seem to be struggling as well as us, clearly, but we'll just try and fire up the lads. We've not done badly today. 49% of possession. Can we nick a late equaliser? I don't think it's going to happen. But we've gone for it today. And, you know, I'm fairly proud of the lads there. We lose 1-0 against Liverpool, but it is nothing like the 5-0 trouncing we had earlier on in the season. I'm just going to tell the lads we were unlucky there. That's not a game we were targeting. And to lose there by 1-0 isn't really that much of a concern. It obviously depends how the likes of Chelsea and Leeds United get on today. Really, I think Everton are the only concern for us at the moment. You can see that there's quite a gap behind Everton then to Fulham, who have had a really good season actually. But it's an interesting one, isn't it? You can see Tottenham are a long way back, but even if they win their 2 games in hand, which I very much doubt they will do given their form, they're 7 points behind us. So we are doing really well. As long as we keep the good form up, we've got a good chance. But as I said, we weren't targeting that game. We didn't get anything out of it, but luckily after that really tough run of 6 games in 3 weeks, we can have a little bit of a chill. Not too much, but a little bit of a rest now. We've got 9 days until we go to the Hawthorns. It won't be a long bus ride, will it, at all, from Wolverhampton? Well, coach trip, I suppose. Bus, coach, I've never got the difference between a bus and a coach. Anyway, but let's have a quick look before we go, I suppose, at the good news, actually, that Leeds United lost to Tottenham. That's good to see. Villa beat West Brom. Well, I'm not really bothered who wins out of those two. Looks like Sheffield United could be down, but West Ham have just sacked David Moyes after they were beaten by us. Man United 5-0 against Southampton, so Liverpool very thankful they got the points there. Looks like Southampton are a club in real trouble as well. Arsenal beating Brighton 5-0, and what a gap match that was. 4 each, Everton, Burnley, and there was no goal scored after. Barnes actually scored one in the 89th minute. That must have been agonising for Everton. Ouch. But as I say, we've got a week just to try and rest a little bit, and hopefully we should be back to winning ways against the Baggies. I love a good permutation, a good stat I do. If Jimenez gets a hat-trick today, he moves to the top, joint top though, of the top goal scorers list, level with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Everton have scored a lot of goals this year, with top 2 there. It's quite impressive. And Edinson Cavani's had a great season as well for Man United. But we sit in 5th with Raul Jimenez with 12 goals. So if you can get a hat-trick today, it would be a real cracker, and he'd go up to 15. But personally, I don't care how we win, as long as we beat West Brom. And I feel like it's one of those days today where it could really define your season. It's really one to capitalise. Chelsea and Leeds United played each other last game, and they cancelled each other out for a 1-each draw. So if we can beat West Brom today, we go within 1 point of Leeds United. A thing to note as well is that Manchester City are playing against Manchester United in the final of the EFL Cup. So I don't quite know the permutations, but there's a strong chance that we will get the 7th place club in the Premier League this year, getting Europa League qualification. Whether they're going to go through the qualifying rounds, etc., I'm not too sure. But we are aiming for 6th place at this point. I would be astounded if Leeds keep up this form to finish 6th. It'd be a tremendous achievement. It'd probably be the top finish for a promoted side for years and years and years, and they've done a really good job, to be quite honest. But we're not looking behind us at the moment. If we can win this match, then it puts us 6 points clear of any opponent behind us, and we can very much look forward rather than back. So this is it's a match where we can capitalise. It's an opportunity to capitalise, and hopefully we can do so. So only one change for this match. Oscar Burr comes in for Gijana, however, unfortunately, has got hardly any match fitness. He's really tired after the last match. He's got a fair condition, of course. Nelson Semedo's still out for a match because of that yellow cards limit. He got a 3-match ban for 10 yellow cards, so that's really harsh. So Oscar Burr gets a very, very, very rare appearance at right back. But apart from that, one more change. I think Max Meyer comes in to replace Danny Pacheco at centre attacking midfield. But outstretched, in fact, no gesture. Recent form starting to have West Brom in 16th. I'm toying between these two. Either the West Brom have lost 3 of the last 5. I expect so. I think we'll say, we're 7th and they're 16th. Let's go and show them why. Need a bit of needle in these matches, definitely. Nelson Semedo, yeah, we'll deal with it. We haven't got a choice. That's very true. It's something in football I feel like you have to say sometimes. You can moan all you want, but you've just got to get on with it. That's something a little bit like Liverpool in real life, isn't it? At the moment, the club obviously I support. We've got Mo Salah that's gone down with COVID-19, and who the hell's Rasmussen? Who's Rasmussen? Is that like a really weird nickname for Oscar Burr? Because it's not very catchy, is it? But anyway, Neves has lost the ball to Grant, and I'll tell you what, he did beat Rui Patricia there. Who the hell is that Rasmussen? I mean, if that is Oscar Burr, I presume it's got to be. But there we go, Oscar Burr Rasmussen. What do they just call him, Burr? That is strange. I don't know. Very, very strange. The fact that it's Burr there and it's Burr there, and I don't know. Strange. Anyway, Podence puts it into the box for Pedro Neto, who scores his 7th goal of the season. Wasn't quite sure who got on the end of that. I thought it might have been Raul Jimenez, but very selfless from Raul Jimenez to tap it on here to Pedro Neto, who scores his 7th goal of the season. You have to say all of our attackers have been in crappy form. We've got Pedro Neto with 9. I think Podence has scored 6. Adama Traore scored 6 or 7, and obviously Raul Jimenez has scored 12. No, the West Brom defender Ajayi, or whatever his name is. Yeah, Ajayi, he was playing Pedro Neto onside there, so that's absolutely fine. So can West Brom get back into this? A header from whoever that was. I didn't know who it was in the box. Wasn't enough to do it, but Grant back into the box, but luckily Ruben Neves does clear. Could this be a counter-attack now? Daniel Podence down the left wing. Can he put a good ball in? He can to Raul Jimenez, who gets his 14th goal of the season. His 13th in the Premier League, and within half an hour here, we have a good buffer between ourselves and West Brom, just the way we wanted to start. A very good header out initially from Ruben Neves, And a cracking ball here from Daniel Podence. I thought he was going to wait a little bit longer, maybe till he was in this sort of position. But no, goes early. The West Brom defenders can't keep up, and it's from his first touch. Raul Jimenez puts it beautifully past the goalkeeper from West Brom. That's what we like to see. A good attacking move, and we lead by 2-0 here. And perhaps, we maybe don't deserve that in terms of having easy chances. Apparently Oscar Burrs had just about enough. That's a shame. But a corner here from West Brom. Can they get back into it? No, they can't. Surely it's not going to be a mirror of what happened last time. Neto just runs past the defenders, has a shot, but that is blocked by Kieran Gibbs. Wow. You can't believe he's playing for West Brom, can you, these days? You really can't. It's starting to rain out there, so I'm going to close the window at this point. But Oscar Burr looks absolutely knackered, so we might have to tell someone who doesn't like playing at right back that they might have to sacrifice themselves to play there. Yeah, we've got to go with a complacent team talk here. We are dominating, but yeah, Oscar Burr's got to come off. So I suppose, yeah, Hover, I suppose, is the natural replacement. Hover is a little bit knackered himself, but hopefully he's in a little bit of a better state than Oscar Burr is, and he's the better choice. He's our second choice rather than our third choice, so that's an upgrade there. That certainly works for me. Moutinho with the free kick. This would definitely finish it off if it was going to go in, but just hits the crossbar. The keeper was completely oblivious. Sam Johnson not looking at that at all. A few former classic Premier League names, in the West Brom squad. Branislav Ivanovic, who of course played for Chelsea. Obviously Kieran Gibbs as well. Hal Robson-Kanu is a good player, I think. A very underrated player. You watch, he'll go and score now. But no, luckily we don't tempt fate. He heads it just over the bar. We're controlling this match fairly well. I'm quite happy with this. 52% of possession. In fact, we are going to try and potentially rest a few players now. Hover's really starting to struggle, but you know what? I'm going to keep him on. I'm not going to sub him on and then sub him back up. That'd be ridiculous. I'm going to bring Mario Balotelli on for Jimenez, and I'll probably leave it another 10 minutes, and I'll bring Danny Pacheco on for Daniel Podence. Let's see if Balotelli can get another goal. That'd be brilliant. Maybe take him off the pressing forward role, because he's not like Jimenez. He doesn't like that. We're going to put him as an advanced forward on attack. See what he can do. Again, if he can make this 3-0, that'll be outstanding. But, I don't want to tempt fate here. I don't want to jinx anything. But West Brom haven't really offered anything at all day. And, well, there you go. 3-0. Daniel Podence puts it in the back of the net. And I think with that, we are going to bring Daniel Podence off. He looks a little bit tired, and he certainly deserves the break. So we're going to bring Danny Pacheco on for him. And West Brom haven't offered anything today. We've definitely controlled the match. And our players have really got used to this system now. They're really enjoying their football. We're getting a variety of goal scorers, which always helps. You don't want to just rely on one man. Jimenez is in good form, obviously scored today. But Pedro, Neto, Podence and Raul Jimenez, all with goal stats. Exactly what you'd like to see. Maxi Meyer having a good game, 7 out of 10, good to see. It'd be cracking if he could get a goal at some point. But a poor pass there from Pedro Neto. Not exactly sure what he was thinking of there. But cracking ball from Ruben Neves to Danny Pacheco, who shoots. But really, it's straight at Sam Johnson at the near post there. But as long as we can get a clean sheet now, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if West Brom went and scored 1, even 2 at this point. But really, if we can get a clean sheet, that's the complete match. I'd be very happy with that. And a fantastic victory once again, which of course increases the goal difference. That will always help when it's tight at the top. But this could be a chance. Max Meyer misplaces the pass. But West Brom just seem to have nobody up front, do they? They're really struggling. Even when they get the ball to the halfway line, Cody and Bolly can deal with it quite easily. Ruben Neves doing really well in that midfield position. Max Meyer shoots! I tell you what, for your first goal for the club, there's not many better that you could have scored. A cracking strike from Maxi Meyer. And I think Ruben Neves, obviously, he's a big player. He's one that's talked about quite a lot. But I actually think he's a little bit underrated. He makes a lot of chances. He puts those short passes in, particularly either to Neto or Podence, or whoever's playing there, for example, Adama Traore. And they seem to be able to square it to whoever's in that attacking midfield or striker position and do a really good job of it. But it's been a comprehensive victory for us today against West Brom. A clean sheet as well. And as the commentaries at the bottom of the screen says, a well-deserved and clear deserved win for us today against West Brom. 2 goals in the first half. That really seemed to finish the game off. And 2 goals in the second half. And a brilliant match. Really good stuff. I don't think that performance is unacceptable. That's ridiculous. Yes, we definitely have bragging rights over West Brom. And we didn't do it against Aston Villa. But the good news is that we do have a league double over the bag. You can just look at that. That puts clear sight between us and Everton. And puts us really close now to Leeds United. Obviously that top 4 group have gone. Unless somebody like Arsenal just implode. that group has gone. Behind us, yes, we've got probably I'd say Everton and Tottenham are the two big threats to our position. Leicester have had a really bad season, haven't they, compared to what they should have done. Tottenham did win their 2 games in hand. If they win another game, obviously it puts them on 33 points, 7 points behind us, but you know, you've just got to look forward. I really think we can snatch that 6th place off Leeds United. We don't want any more injuries. We're a tight squad as it so happens. We're not really a squad with too much depth. And you know what? I'm not too fussed about that. I'm quite happy to have a nice tight squad where we know who we can trust. So it's Crystal Palace against Tottenham that's going to take place tomorrow night. I'll tell you what, we'll fast forward to there because I'm interested to see how Tottenham get on with that match because Crystal Palace are actually 1 place above them in the table. So I'll fast forward to then, and I'll see you guys in just a second. Hopefully, well, I suppose the draw's the best result for us, isn't it, really? In fact, no, we're there now, we're there. I mean, the fast loading times of FM21 are fantastic, they really are. Let's have a look then. I think Tottenham will win this, but a draw wouldn't be too bad for us at all. Let's see how this game goes. And it is a draw, 3 each, so Tottenham are now 9 points behind us. You know, that's really comfortable now, it really is. I can't believe we've only had 1 draw this year, by the way, that's incredible. Let's have a look at the Everton schedule. Are they going to threaten us? They've got Crystal Palace next, then Man City, Man United in there as well. I think the point where we were going to come back previously is a really good point to come back. We're going to come back for that Leeds United match. I feel like that could be a real crucial one unless ourselves and Leeds really slip off. And we'll come back for that Everton game as well. I think we're going to do 2 more episodes this year. We've got how many games left? We've got 14 games left in the Premier League. So I'll do 10 of that off camera and obviously show 4 of them. So we'll show the Leeds United and Everton matches. And then unless something really special happens, we'll come back for the last 2 games of the season against Sheffield United and Newcastle. But we're in a really good run of form at the moment. I said this at the end of the last episode. It could just all implode before the next time. But let's have a quick look at the schedule. You know, we've got Burnley, Tottenham, Fulham, Southampton and Arsenal. Nothing particularly easy in there. I mean, Southampton in a bad run of form, but that could improve. I suppose 9 out of 15 points there would be acceptable. You know, a win against Tottenham would be awesome. That would really put daylight between us and our biggest threat for that 7th place finish. But we're in really good form at the moment. You know, I can't see much stopping us at the moment. We are getting our away form sorted now ever since we beat Sheffield United. We've only lost 2 games away from home. We've won quite a few. Okay, we lost in the FA Cup, but ignore that. But, you know, some comprehensive victories. And we've got a good defence. You can see that we've only conceded 4 goals, now, in 2021. And, you know, we're scoring for fun. We really are. 5 against Brighton, 4 against the Baggies, 4 against Leicester. And as I said, we've just got it all sorted. We really have. We've done very well. And long may that continue. So if you've enjoyed this episode, folks, leave a like down below. Comment your thoughts as well. And subscribe for daily Football Manager 21 beta content. And I am very excited for tomorrow's episode because it could be a big one. It could probably decide whether we put some good daylight between those clubs for 6th place or whatever happens. But fingers crossed, even if we finish 7th, we should be able to qualify for continental football, which is definitely what we're looking for next season. But as I said, if you enjoyed that, leave a like down below. And until tomorrow's episode, thank you for watching. I've been TIJ Gaming, and until the next time, I will see you guys later. Goodbye for now.
Und es wird der Job, und geht die Golf.